Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Adult Coloring, and in this video I want to talk a little bit about design elements and just some new ideas for your book when you're coloring. So today I am working on Johanna Basford's Lost Ocean, and as you can see I'm on the page that has all the fish. And as I was doing this, I thought that I would do a quick little color along so I can show you some of the things that I've done on the page to give you some ideas. First thing that I wanted to tell you about, and I'm going to tip up the book for this, is as you can see, I went ahead and I drew in some fishing lines for this page. And the tools that I use to do that are the pigment liners, Staedtler pigment liners, and all I did is I went ahead and made my little J for the hook in front of the fish and then drew the line to the very top. And I went wherever the line fell, I went ahead and drew it in. I didn't care that they crossed. As you can see that they're crossing a little bit here. And that's okay. That's just part of the design, and it makes it, I think, look a little more natural. So I'm going to show you real quick how I made that little hook, just in case you decide that you want to try this. All I did was draw a circle and made a little down and backwards J, okay? And then I made the left-hand side of what would be a 4. So there you go. So that's all this is. And you can go ahead and make different sizes. See? Up, backwards 4, and you've got your little hook. And then of course you can draw your line to the top of the page. Now when you're drawing something like this, make it a point to not pick up your pen, because if you do, wherever you set it down again, you will get a little double line or double mark here. You can see it right there. So whenever you're doing this, try and keep a constant pressure on your paper. Now if you need to draw your hook the other way, circle, backwards J, and then your little backwards 4. And I'm sorry that didn't show at all, did it? Here we go. Circle, backwards J, and then my little 4, and color that in. And you can make a teeny tiny one if you want, or you can make a bigger one. So there you go. Alright, so what I did in deciding the placement on the page is I went ahead and I put a hook in front of the mouth of every fish that I wanted to do. So for example, on this fish right here, I did my little backwards J right in front of the mouth, and then I drew my line all the way up to the top, and you can see, hopefully, let me get up there for you, that these lines cross, and that's okay. You don't want, I think you don't want it perfect. You want them like crisscrossing a little bit, and that's okay. You know, so many people worry about drawing and it has to be perfect. No, it doesn't have to be perfect, because if it's perfect, it looks perfect and it doesn't look like you're doing a natural addition to your coloring. So that's what I did, and I went ahead and added a hook in front of every mouth that had some space on it. Now, if it didn't have space, let's see, there's this one right here. I was able to do this guy, and I was able to do this guy, and because these two were apart enough, I was able to put hooks in front of each one. Let me find one where I could only do one. Let's see if I can find that. I can't. I'm not going to worry about it. Anyway, so the point is, put your J's where you want. Again, on this one, I put it in front of there. On this one, I put it in front of this fish here, this guy here. Put it in front of there. Let's see where else we got some. Yeah, so you can see it as I'm moving through here. It was a little tight in here, but that's okay. I did my little backwards J, went underneath the tail, and then drew my line up to the top. I even had a hook. If I can find it, I'll show it to you. I even had a hook that I couldn't draw a full circle because of where it fell near the fish. And so I drew a partial circle for the top of the hook, and darned I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Okay, here we go. You can see what I'm talking about right there. So all I did was I drew a partial circle for the top of the hook, and because the fish is right here where the line would have been, obviously I'm not going to draw the line. So all that's sitting here, of course, is that hook. Alright, so let me pull out here and show you a couple more things that I'm doing. Alright, let me put my pen away, because knowing me, if I don't, as I start to point to stuff, I will put some errant black lines on there that I don't want. So my next issue was, what am I going to do about this background? And one thing that I really want you to realize, and this came up with somebody that had posted a drawing, it looked like the wallpaper with the fish on it, and forgive me, I don't remember who did it, but they were asking about coloring in some of the white that they had left open. I'd like you to understand that white is a design element. So white, the color of the page, is just as important as in part of your design as you adding pencils. So in this case, I decided that I was going to go ahead and, rather than color in everything a complete blue, I wanted to go ahead, I decided to just go ahead and outline my fish. So that's what I did. Now, I'm using Faber-Castell. That'll focus, I hope. Please focus. And the color is, the irony of it is, it's sky blue, because obviously this isn't sky, this is water. And you can tell that I like this pencil because it's turning into a short little nubby, so I'll have to buy a new one. Anyway, so I was drawing this blue around these fish, and I thought that it might make a nice little tutorial for anybody that's interested in trying to figure out how to do that. So I'm going to focus in on, let's see, I'm going to focus in on that guy right here. So what I'm doing is, notice I don't have a sharp point. It's dull. And the reason for that is I'm putting it flat to the paper, and I'm coloring around the fish, and it's about the width of the pencil. Let's see. Hopefully you can see that clearly. Let me get a little closer yet. Give me one moment, please. Okay. So the blue around the pencil is about the width. If I had a sharp point, I'd be getting sharp lines here, and I don't want sharp, I want soft and dull. And you'll also notice that I'm making circles. I'm not just scrubbing back and forth. The reason that you want to do that is that circles, when you're coloring, is a little bit harder for the human eye to follow. So that being the case, you won't see streaks on your paper. You should color areas in circles if you can, and that way it won't get streaky. The other thing that I wanted to tell you about while I'm thinking about it is, always when you're coloring on a page, this is just a paper towel here, put your hand on the paper towel and rest it on that so that you're not smearing underneath what you're trying to color. So, paper towel, and watch how I do this. Now, I'm letting the width of the pencil dictate how much white is going to show. So in this case, now I'm between the two fish, we've got that all covered up. But as I'm coming down and around the fish, you're going to see that this is where my white is going to start showing up. Now, again, as I'm doing my circles, at the top of those loops, you kind of see rounded edges like puffy clouds. And that's okay if you want that effect, but I want it rounded out a little bit. So I go back and I gently round that out with my pencil. So here I am, I'm just drawing little circles, And then if I have to back up a little bit and catch any white that I have, I do. Now here's a good spot that I'm going to show you. Back up a little bit so you can see this. The fish here, let me go down this way a little bit. Watch the gap that I'm going to get on the white between these other fish. Now, see that little triangle of white? I'm going to leave it. I'm going to come around here, the nose. See that little triangle of of white on the hook? I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to color it in. And I'm just going to keep going around here. And I'm making comfortable little circles, probably about what, half the size of a dime maybe, a little smaller. Just watch how I'm doing that. And wherever the blue falls when I come up against another fish, that's where I leave it. And that's where I leave those white gaps. Okay, so let me go back up here. Again, I'm just making little circles. The point, my pencil point, as I mentioned earlier, is flat. I don't want it sharp because I don't want sharp lines in here. And I've got a moderate pressure on here, probably on a scale from 1 to 10. I'd probably say, I don't know, maybe a 4 or a 5. Okay, now I'm going to go back up to the other fish, so let me move my camera a little bit. Here we go. Just nice little circles, and if I need to go back with a little couple straight lines, that's fine, or straight strokes, that's fine. Okay, there's another white spot that I'm leaving. Looks great. So now I'm going to go behind the tail. And I'm going to go back down. Now there was a little bit of white in there. I may go back and emphasize that. Let me color this in. And again, this is up to you as to what you want to do. Now, what I'm going to show you also, I think I showed you, I know I showed you in another video. This is the Mono Zero eraser, and it comes in two sizes or two shapes. You can get a rectangle shape. It's very small, little tiny point there. And let me find my other one here. Yeah, there we go. Here's the other mono that I got, Zero, and that one is a, not a rectangle, but a dot. A dot. So going back to that one spot here in between these two fish, I'm going to put some white in there. I'm just going to erase a little bit. And again, it's personal preference. If you were doing this, you don't have to put that white in there. It's what you want to do. Another thing too that I want to talk about is get yourself a little duster brush, and you brush off your pieces of work with the brush. If you see me brushing it with my hand, I'm wrong. You should always brush it with a brush, because when you brush it with your hand, you're pushing your hand into your piece. You're getting oil on your paper or dirt from your hand, and you're like shoving and smearing your pencil. Use a duster brush. Let's see here and pull that out. See? And I just go like that. So again, if you see me using my hand, don't do that. Okay, so that little spot that I just erased is right here. So now I'm going to go around with it carefully with the blue to make it just a little bit darker around that spot so that it makes it lighter, right? There we go. See how much that's showing up? Okay, so Here's the overall coloring technique. Let me lift my camera for you so you can see. You can see how I'm starting to fill out the blue around all the fish. You can see how I've colored the fish, and you can also see how I've left the white space. So I think that's all I have to show you tonight. Again, the addition of the hooks and the lines with the pens, the pigment liners, and then the coloring around just the fish, leaving the white space with my polychromos sky blue. And then of course I'm doing my fish. I did a couple there to, did a couple gem fish, that one and that one. And then the other ones I'm doing just as I am in the mood. So I hope this helps you. Let me pull out a little more. I hope this helps you. I hope it gives you some ideas. And if you have any questions, contact me. All right, guys. Happy adult coloring. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Please push the like button if you would. It helps me get excited about doing more videos for you. And also, please send me your comments about whether this was helpful or not. All right, guys. Again, happy adult coloring. Bye.